Are we ready, guys? Come on.
Start over. Technical difficulties, we gotta restart.
What's wrong?
Facebook.
Okay, we gotta restart?
Just
All right,
copy
sorry, dude.
the-
God dang it.
Wait.
No problem.
Live streaming, screen sharing, Zoom conferencing, iPad music, 3 cameras. Are we ready now? All right. All right, you guys. Oh my God, what a train wreck this show has been, and we just started. Okay, hey, welcome to the Future. I'm your host, Chris Doe. We are live, sort of. In today's episode, we have the pleasure, the distinct honor of talking to an amazing artist. That's the best way I know how to describe him. And you guys know I don't throw that term around lightly. Let me just adjust my mic here. We are going to be talking to Orlando Arocena. I hope I said that correctly. He coached me a little bit on how to say it the proper way versus the Anglo way. And Orlando's here. We're going to talk about his work. We're going to see a couple of examples. And you can even buy some merch if you want. But here's the cool part. We're going to do a live painting, drawing, illustration together. And this is only possible because he's a beast. He's a beast. All right. We're going to jump into the show, right? So let's do this. And first, let me cut to my screen. All right, here we go. This is raw. We're going to keep it real. This is the man himself. This is what he looks like, all tattooed up. His name is Orlando Arocena. You guys can look him up on Instagram. It's Mexi Funk. And I think that's a really catchy way to describe him, Mexi Funk. And he's part Cuban, part Mexican, and all American, all thrown together. And here's a little bit of his work. And Orlando, we can hear you, so you can say whatever you want at this point. All right?
Hey, what's up, everybody? Pleasure to join you, Chris, and your team. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Man, I'm just thrilled to have you on here. We were only speaking about a week ago, and you said, hey, let's make this happen because you're moving. And we jumped on it. So we moved some of our programming around, you guys. And thanks for being patient, audience. Thanks for hanging in there. And I'm going to tell you right now, you will be rewarded for your patience. Check out his work. This is at his website. If you go to mexifunk.com, you can see his posters, and you can buy some of them. And there might be a little surprise for you guys here later. So those of you guys that don't know how to spell read good, mexifunk.com. There we go, right?
It's so true. I have a problem to this day, and I'm 45 years old.
And luckily, I did a little spell check because I screwed up your last name, but I got it right this time. Anyways, you can also see his work on Behance. Go to Behance and type in Orlando Arocena. And here's the crazy thing. He is so freaking prolific, pardon my French, he is so prolific that I scrolled down and I got mouse wheel fatigue. I could not get to the bottom of this thing. I just couldn't even get to the bottom, which is bananas if you think about it, right?
I have to send you an arm brace or something.
Now, how many projects have you posted here?
Oh, man.
Do you even know?
Question. You know, the thing is that I don't have a personal website for the work. You know, it's like I do so many different types of work and commissions and everything from creative strategy to brand promotion to brand building to illustration to fine art. So like at one time I had a website that was just way too all over the place. And then back, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago, I totally just did away with it and jumped on Behance before Adobe claimed it. And it's a great community to basically use as a jump off and to jump into the community and share globally.
Mm-hmm. So now we're seeing your picture. Look at that. We're seeing you on screen. We're all live.
I only got 8 fingers. Where's there they go.
You got the little finger glove. Does that help you with your movement?
Yeah, man. I robbed it from one of the studio designers at the Colombian promotional agency that I was at because I didn't have one before. So I've got like this nasty callus on the tip of my pinky that's just like a paperweight type of thing.
Wow.
Yeah, too much information, but hey.
All right. Well, I want to talk to you a little bit about your story, who you are. You graduated from Pratt in '94, right?
Woo! Yeah, '94, before the web or before computers were like, super rockets in your pocket.
Right. And you studied visual communication, is that right?
Yeah, studied visual communication. I kind of hung out with a diverse group of other buddies that were studying architecture, art direction, um, you know, fine arts, industrial design. I kind of just watched over their shoulder and just took bits and pieces, man. I love
And
education.
was this were you pursuing a career in graphic design or illustration or something else?
To tell you the truth, when I first went in there, I had no idea of what illustration was or how you could basically start a career. It was just on the notion that my guidance counselor in high school was totally like, "Hey, man, the reason why you're getting sent to the principal so often is because look at your sketchbook. Like you have great diagrams. I mean, look at your notebooks. You have great diagrams, great sketches." And all I really wanted to do was, I just wanted to join the Navy and go fly planes, man, off aircraft carriers.
And so why didn't you pursue that as a career?
Why? Because I was like, oh man, you know what? If I could basically live the rest of my life drawing and making people smiling, yeah, making some money, then why not at least try it out? And when I first went to Pratt for like the whole entrance exam, they actually turned me down, and then they called me up a few weeks ago and they're like, hey, we'll look at your work again, but it's only one piece. We're going to judge you on one piece. And what I did was that I went back into art history because I love art history, and I took a look at like old Greek urns. You know how they would do these vases, and then they would paint certain sections in black ink and then scratch out the whole drawing or narrative.
Yep.
So I did that. I got scratchboard, but instead of doing some Greek thing, I did a rendition of Wolverine.
You did.
So Wolverine actually got me into prep.
Okay. Wow. Okay. So initially you got rejected, but for some reason, a few weeks later, they said, "Look, we'll give you a second shot." Is that how that happened?
Totally. And I had I didn't bother like doing like in The Godfather, sending any of my Bronx buddies over there to like break legs or anything, and give them an offer they couldn't refuse to try to get me back in.
So you did a Wolverine scratchboard illustration?
Yeah.
Wow.
Miller-esque scratchboard, and that's what got me in. And then since then, just been having fun. It's been a wild ride. I mean, like I said, 94, I graduated out of Pratt and I didn't even know the computer. So I was trying to go get freelance gigs, and everybody else in the agency were like, hey, do you know Photoshop, Illustrator, and Quark? And I was like, no. I couldn't even lie about it. And they're like, all right, sorry, can't do it.
Wow, okay.
So, yeah, it took a while. It wasn't until 97. Like I've taken jobs manning the greeting post at the Warner Brothers studio store, doing retail, just so I could try to worm my way into like the inner workings of Warner Brothers. I've taken jobs as a museum guard at the Metropolitan Museum of Art. Actually, it's really cool because if you're an employee there, you get to be, in a employee art show. Like I've had two pieces at the Metropolitan Museum of Art back to back with their juried show early on.
Wow.
But yeah, no, that's when I was like in my 20s, and I thought like, oh damn, I'm gonna blow up now. I'm like Miss Museum of Art. Like people are gonna start knocking down your doors and like giving you solos. Doesn't work, man. You never blow up. Blowing up is just ego, man. I don't do well with egos.
Okay, I mean, look, let's not brush that off. Being in the Museum of Modern Art, that's a big deal.
No, the Metropolitan.
Oh, Metropolitan.
That is a big deal early on, but it was great. It was great. From there on, I never basically went back to do a solo because I ended up getting a job as a graphic designer for Troma Studios. A Toxic Avenger. With Lloyd Kaufman, and I was an art director there for their .com Tromaville, and I was doing everything from DVD covers to graphics for their online, and that's where I bumped in. That's how I got into Illustrator. Yeah, because I remember my creative director was like, "Hey, listen, Lloyd needs a big Toxie for the side of the building," and I started doing it in Photoshop, and he was like, "Dude, you need to do it in Illustrator. Otherwise, if you don't have it by the end of the day, man, like." There's a cardboard box right over there. Claim your stuff. Take care. Hasta la vista. Around mid-tones, highlights, and it was pretty fun.
Well, why while you're talking here, I'm going to share with our audience some of your artwork because it's.
Hey, Chris, wait a second. Wait.
Yeah, what's up?
He can keep going. Keep going.
Molly, what's up?
It said the split screen. Okay.
You need more audio?
No, it's not you. It's us.
It's fine. Keep going.
Okay. I'm going to go back to the keynote here. Yeah, you just keep talking. Tell us your story because I want to show them your work. It's so incredible.
Cool.
Okay?
Cool. So, yeah, played with Trauma. I remember I was there when James Gunn was writing for them, and it was really cool. Years later, when I basically did the Dia de los Muertos for Guardians of the Galaxy, they flew me out to Burbank, and he was basically doing a press review because Guardians had just come out on Blu-ray and DVD, and I was there to sign some prints. And I told him specifically, don't tell them I'm there.
Okay.
Finally, I showed up, and I was like, hey, what's up? And he was like, you. He was like, totally forgot your name, but I remember you. But it was cool. It was a great moment. I got to hang out with them afterwards, and it's really good to see at least one of us blow up to that size. But no, I got that opportunity from playing around with this group, my representation through the Poster Posse, and I'm very, very fortunate and thankful for all that they do. But Vector's a whole different animal, man. I understand, going through the years of working as a creative director, a design director for some of the agencies, like, I've worked on campaigns and brands for below the line, above the line for like clients like Diageo and Johnny Walker and Crown Royal and Jose Cuervo. And it's because of that I kind of learned, a lot about what makes a brand and brand communication and how to target an audience and how to make it relevant. And I just brought it back to myself, So when it comes to Vector, I've had many conversations throughout the years with some designers, and they're just like, man, I can't stand that program. I don't even want to make logos out of it. And, it's because of that I was like, you know what? Let me try to play with it and see if I could actually paint or just create the way that I would normally do any piece, whether it was in oils or whether it was in aerosols. And it's taken quite a while. I mean, it's seriously, to this day, it's a love-hate relationship because Illustrator is so unforgiving. Mm-hmm. Not like Photoshop, but at the same time, I appreciate the fact that, you could do something the size of a stamp and blow it up the size of a building and still retain all this information.
That is a big advantage. And probably the file size is not as gigantic, too. And
it's
supposed to like raster art.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so I got a couple quick questions, and I want to jump in and see the genius, the madness, the insanity behind your work. But how would you describe yourself today? I mean, are you an independent guy? Are you a freelancer? How do you describe what you do today?
Oh, man. I'm a vector artist / creative consultant. I do a lot of brand strategy, a lot of that on the side. But when it's fun time, I'm basically just throwing down in vector.
And how do clients normally find you? Is it through your website or is it all referrals? How do people find you?
I think it's a good question. I think that it's all referrals. I tend to ask, certain requests that come in, be like, hey, just out of curiosity, how did you come across me? And, they'll post up either that they saw me in a review or they saw a piece of work. And, again, it's not like I keep on posting my website everywhere. I don't have one. I just play off of Behance. Mm-hmm. And I do a lot of Instagram. I really do. And I have everything strategically point back to where it's living, whether it's on Behance, whether it's on my Facebook, whether it's, a collaboration with a certain studio or a certain group. And, I don't mind being a hype man for the cause.
Sure. You got to. You got to champion your work, man.
Seriously.
You can't hide in a cave. So I got a question. I don't know if you're comfortable talking about this, but if there's an art director, creative director out there who's like digging this, what they're seeing right now, they're being introduced to you for the first time, like how long does it take for you to do the work and how much do you typically charge? And tell us whatever you're comfortable talking about. Yeah, no, it all,
I tend to realize that when I'll do my own sketches or I'll do something personal for me, mm-hmm. It could range anywhere from a half hour to about 3 hours. When I'm working on an actual commission for a studio, for a client request, again, it could take anywhere between, a day to several days. It really depends upon kind of their interaction, their involvement within the collaboration, you know, back and forth, nit tweaks. But if it's a total carte blanche, then I'm having fun. Like, you know, the Fox Neuron Syndicate commission with the 19 faceplates. That thing started off as 30 faceplates and dwindled down to 19. And it was crazy because the creative director, Sean Altieri, reached out to me right before I was about to literally, like in 3 hours, go to the airport and jump on a plane. And he's like, listen, I love your work. Got something in store. I'm going to be, you know, pitching it this week. He told me what it was about, and I was like, great, you know, excellent. Thank you so much for the consideration. I started pointing him to some of my work that would be of relevance to what he needed. And he's like, listen, I would love it if you could at least take one of the titles, and it was the Black Swan. And he was like, if you could just whip it up. And I was like, oh, dude, you know, I'm jumping on a plane in a little while. So at first I said no, and I stepped down. Then I had a moment of thought, and I was like, come on, I'll do it. So I whipped it up. I have it here if you want to take a look at the first draft of like what I did in 45 minutes for Sean and
let's do that.
Syndicate.
All right, I'm going to make you the host. Hold on, let me figure out how to do this again. Why can't I switch to actors?
You want me to hit share screen?
No. I have to make you the host first, I believe.
Oh, damn. Don't break down the show, Chris.
Right. Here we go. Make you the host. Boom. You are now the host.
I am now the host. All right, I'm going to share screen.
Go ahead, share the screen, man.
All right, cool, man. Cool. All right. So
this is the Black Swan thing you're talking about?
Here's the piece that I whipped up, and I submitted to him like in 45 minutes because I was going to jump on a plane now in 2.5 hours, you know? And it's really rudimentary. I mean, the way that I work is that I'll pick up as much reference and I'll do a competitive landscape to see what's already been established out there from a creative standpoint. And, you know, I totally just wanted to whip this up and get it generalized to send over to him. And he was happy. His team was happy. It worked out. I got the commission, but then, you know, we had to get serious about it. And what it ended up being was this.
Wow.
You know, so I tend to sketch, you know, in vector rather than on paper. I kind of love the whole spontaneity of just running, you know, with what you have and racing to get it down. You know, as far as like sketching and then scanning, you know, I kind of started off that way. Everybody does in this industry. But nowadays I just rather give the client kind of a sketch that's in color. They see the composition, and it totally expedites the timeline. You know, having been a creative director on the opposite side years ago, I understand kind of the back and forth, and time is always against you. And oh my God, I got it. You know, it's you lose time. So I think that it's a benefit. But yeah, no, this is how it ended up.
I got a bunch of questions for you, and for people who are tuning in on Facebook and YouTube, Molly's going to be
back?
No. You stay on you. Molly's going to be monitoring the questions, and she'll find the relevant questions. But I think if I'm speaking on behalf of the audience, I'm just in awe. So let's talk a little bit. So you're on your way to the airport. An art director client calls you. When did you do this sketch, quote unquote?
All right. So I had 3 hours to get to the airport. I did this before I stepped out of the house. So he called me up.
I see.
Spoke briefly about 15 minutes, hung up the phone, and then 10 minutes later, I called him back up and I was like, "Listen, I'll see what I can do.
Right.
It could be really rough, you know, and I hope that you don't mistake it as the final, which happens sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll send in a sketch and people are like, damn, okay, we're done, and I'm like, no, that's just a sketch, man. Trust me, it's gonna look better.
Okay.
You know?
So it looks to me like right now you're pulling references from the movie poster, and it looks like some kind of makeup ad for the face of Natalie Portman
for the pose,
there. Yeah.
For the features, you know, because I know that since I'm using her resemblance 9 out of 10 times in the industry, they're going to want to get approval. So that, you know, they're going to send the artwork back to the agent, to Natalie's agent or her representatives. And the last thing that you want is to, you know, invest all this time on both behalves for yourself and the agency that's commissioning you, and then find out that, hey, no, it's not approved. So, you know, that being the sketch.
So I don't even understand how you're sketching in Illustrator. Can you
You'll
just?
find out. Just
That's
a little-
everyone's
So
question.
you're gonna show us, right?
They're like, how do you sketch in Illustrator?
Yeah, everybody wants to know, how do you sketch in
Totally,
Illustrator?
man.
It's bananas, dude.
So,
Okay.
I mean, I've got some movie files.
Stop
here.
lying to us. You like got some devil juice in you.
Lying. Yes.
Come on.
No, I've sold my soul.
You have.
You
Okay.
know?
All right. So take us through a couple more things.
So yeah, this is
is the
what
final,
it's
right?
turned up. You know, here's all the anchor points.
Holy cow.
You know,
Okay. A lot of
here's
gradient.
a close up.
Is there a lot of gradient maps
Yeah.
in there? Gradient mesh.
A lot. No gradient meshes. Can't stand them, man. They take too long.
Okay.
They kill the spontaneity.
So do you use blends? Is that how you're doing the colors?
No, not really. I kind of use a poor man's blend. You know, something like the old Venetian paintings of washes and washes on top of washes and overlaps. I always refer back to like studio paintings and art history, man. I'm a big sucker for that.
All right. Okay, our audience is going to go bananas right now because you're talking about two things, sketching in Illustrator and this old layering blending technique that you better deliver the goods, man, because now,
Man, you know,
now
the
we
whole
need to know.
blending technique, you know, I'll see if I can show you some of that because, you know, again, I can't show you the whole deal I made with the devil, man. You know what I mean? He's gonna get pissed.
All right. Okay. So is this in 1,000 layers? Do you work in layers?
Oh yeah, dude.
Can
You
we
know, if you
can we
look
just
off
do something
to
real quick? Can you just turn off all the layers but the background layer and just progressively turn them on so we can see what this demonic thing looks like? Okay, here we go.
Boom.
I know how to do that. So far, so good. I know how to do that. Wait, stop. Okay, with this base shape here, with Natalie's head, how are those little highlights and the kind of three-dimensionality of this thing coming through? How is that made?
All right, ready?
Yeah.
I'm gonna turn everything else in the background off.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
Yes, I see that.
All right, so ready?
Yep.
Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. More.
Okay. I'm starting to get an idea how you do this. Then, you have a basic shape. It's a mask, right? Or it's not even a mask. It's just a container for your gradients.
Yep.
And then the gradients just go to transparent.
Yeah, basically playing around with the gradient tool, you know, that's kind of linear based, and you're able to jam as many colors as you want, or as many or as few, and you're able to, you know, direct and say what their opacity is, what their levels are.
All right, starting to make sense now. So
Got it.
this is like washes of color on top of each other.
Hey,
and
man,
you build
that's
it
how
up.
the Venetians used to do it back in the day.
I have to take your word for it. I wasn't there, so yes, this was incredible. Okay. Now our audience.
So here we go, man.
Molly, tell me what our audience is saying right now. Molly, what are they saying?
They're
freaking
saying,
out?
"Holy crap!" They're
Can you hear Molly at all, Orlando?
No,
No,
if
I
there's
don't.
an
Okay,
echo.
that's cool. They're saying "Holy crap!" If you want to, just out of morbid
They're saying, "Oh my
curiosity,
God, oh my
if you go
God,
to YouTube and
holy
check out our
cow."
live stream, you'll be able to see their comments. But you want to make sure your volume's turned down. Otherwise, we're gonna get a massive echo. Okay.
Yeah, no, man, I'm afraid of like losing you guys.
Okay.
I'm
So let's not do that. I won't do that either.
I'm just
Okay.
gonna keep on clicking through here until
You keep
tell
on
me to
clicking.
show you
Okay.
something else.
Okay, stop right there. So these strokes to define her neck,
Yeah.
right? Her throat there. What is that? Yeah, what
those
is?
are
shapes?
those are strokes, man.
They're strokes.
Yeah,
And then
and
you,
some of them are shapes.
and you blur it.
Yep.
Okay.
Totally using the blur tool as often as I can, or as often as my computer will keep up with me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but that's generally one of the only features. I'll use the blur and I'll use some of the warp tools. But other than that, I kind of really stay away from any other plugins or anything that the computer is going to take too much credit for the creativity. Like
Yep.
I'm truly like a diehard traditionalist, man. You know, coming back from traditional painting,
Mm-hmm.
I just view the computer as another tool. You know, so I kind of stay away from all these like, you know, technical, swift kind of like 1, 2, 3 keystrokes and boom, you've got like a masterpiece done, and you didn't bother drawing a single ounce of it. You know what I mean? It's
Right.
It's running too wild these days.
Mm-hmm.
And hey, man, I get it. You know, as long as you're creative, that's cool. But I really like to, you know, go to bed at night knowing that the computer didn't do it all.
Right.
You know, I had something to do.
You know
for a majority of it.
what's interesting to me, Orlando, is because you're using Illustrator back in the ancient medieval days, so we didn't have all those fancy tricks, and so you grew up using it, knowing how to get it done with very few things, very few tricks, right? And
I think it was like a midlife crisis, man, since, you know, I didn't bother picking up my first computer till 97, 98.
Yep.
3 or 4 years later after I graduated.
Mm-hmm.
So, sorry about that. Sometimes I
It's all
totally forgot
good.
that the camera was there. I'm over there, like, talking to you, like, get some water, man. Yeah.
Enjoy your beverage.
Hey, Chris.
Yeah. But,
Okay, hold on. There's a question coming in. Molly, I can barely hear you. What's up? Go ahead. Say it. Molly, go ahead.
A lot of people want to know, does he use an Apple pen or does he use
Okay.
a Wacom tablet?
All right. The people have technical questions for you. You're on a Mac, right?
I'm on a iMac.
You're
Yeah,
on an
with
iMac.
the i7 core.
i7
processor.
core. Are you using a Wacom pen and tablet?
Totally using a Wacom Intuos Pro.
Intuos Pro?
Got a medium,
Medium? Okay.
you know, medium.
Yeah. And do you do all your vector stuff using the
I use all my vector stuff. I know that there, you know, I've I've kind of been in conversations where people are like, "Oh man, you know, Wacom totally believes that you can't paint or do much in vector with their products.
Right.
It's all really Photoshop and all the other programs." And
Right.
I chuckle at that. I really do, because I'm like, yeah, no, you can do vector.
Right. Clearly, they're wrong about that. Now, I can't help but to notice this thing. Do you mind blowing up your swatches for a little bit? I want to look at that thing.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Let's look at your swatches. Can you make it a large view or something?
Dude, I can't, man. You know, that's like totally against the deal with the devil, man. But,
All right. So we get a little sneak peek then. It's getting
Let me
bigger.
see.
Okay. Are these all just presets that you've made up over the years or just specific to this one drawing?
just specific to this one drawing.
Okay. So if you create something, you like it, you drag it over and you save it as a swatch?
Yeah, no. I don't even save swatches. I don't even bother with that. I kind of like to just, I don't like to have too many things baked in, you know, or things off on the ready. I really don't. I just like to treat everything organically as fresh as possible and move with that positive energy and spontaneity, man.
Okay.
Seriously.
All right. That's cool. Well, we're going to get to do something pretty incredible because I don't know if you guys heard this or not, but he said when he was working for himself, like he's just doing a pet project, he can take as little as 30 minutes to complete something to 3 hours. And if you did this in 30 hours, you'd be really happy. So we're going to get to see Orlando work in real time. So Orlando, do we have any subject matter or anything that we can work on, or should we leave it up to our audience to make some suggestions?
Hell no. I'm a total tyrant today.
All right.
I'm gonna play this. I'm gonna play the right game and say, I'm just gonna start off. And you know what I really want to do is that I don't want to jump in too quick into the heavier aspect of what I do. For instance,
Right.
what's on the screen right now is way intense.
Right.
You
That
know,
looks really
over
intense.
190 layers, and I had a lot of fun, and I had more than just 90 minutes to play with it.
Right.
But basically, what I really want to do is that I really want to try to get a lot of people out there, a lot of your fans, to at least play around with vector. And I'm going to start off with a few basic shapes and have that work gradually into a really cool area that, yeah, maybe I'll bust out a few brushes or a few brush techniques.
Okay.
But just let me know. I mean, right now I'm just going through some stuff for all of you to see.
Whoa.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Oh my God. Look at that
That's
thing.
what happens. That's what happens. And look, you see the, that's what happens sometimes is that I'll have something enormously, like a bunch of strokes, and then I'll outline them.
Yeah.
And when they outline, they'll just take a whole different personality upon themselves when you go to the Command Y preview.
Right.
But
You outline them so you can get a little more control over the stroke.
yeah, and reposition them, because
Yeah.
in Illustrator, if you basically change kind of the physics of it, if it's pointing or stroking in one direction from left to right, and you kind of want to mirror it off to the right hand side, once
Yeah.
you flip it, if it's still live, it'll totally warp out on you.
I see.
So I kind of like outline it
And then flip
and
it.
then flip.
Okay. Now, can we do something where we can see your process start to finish? Maybe not something complicated like this, but something we can do in 30 minutes, 45 minutes, something?
Well, I mean,
What do you got?
I'll give you something. Hey, I could go back to a very quick piece and crazy piece.
Okay.
If you want an example.
Yeah.
Is this big enough for you guys?
Yeah, this is great.
All right, here's a piece that I did, which is kind of like bullshit. Sorry. That I did one night. I'm a big Diane Antwoord fan, and this is actually sped up, but it's a 45-minute piece, and I think it's sped up to be a minute for Instagram.
Okay. Are you switching to another? Are you switching to another screen?
No.
No, you're still in Illustrator, right? Okay.
Oh no! You know what? Damn.
You have to
Hold
stop.
on.
You have to hit stop share at the, and then you could share the other thing. There we go.
Okay, cool, man. Sorry about that.
It's all right.
Hey, Chris, they want to
Let me
know,
rewind this.
are all those layers named specifically?
Sorry, technical difficulties.
All right. While you're looking for that.
And what's the
Oh, here we
typical
go.
file size?
Okay.
Ready?
Okay. All right. Here we go. We're looking at him work in super fast speed, right?
Yeah, it's about 45 to like maybe a little bit under an hour, and then I sped it up so that it could fit the whole 1 minute thing for Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
But it's all gradients, and I was working with a piece of reference off to the left-hand side that you can't see.
Okay.
But it's a mixture of just
Shapes
organic shapes and gradients.
and brushes,
then
right?
A little bit of brushes. Yeah,
Yeah.
a little bit of brushes, not a whole
Mhm.
lot.
Wow. Okay. When I saw this, you guys, I was like already impressed, but this like took it over the top. This is where I fell off the cliff.
And I'm not going to be doing anything this crazy right now for you guys.
Sure.
no, we'll see. We're going to have some fun.
Okay. So a couple of questions came in. One is, do you name all your layers? Do you keep that
Hell
super? Spoken like a
Hell no.
true artist. Okay.
Hell no. No, I mean, it all depends. Like, if I know that I'm going to get really intense with it, I know that I'll basically start layering a few things like
Okay.
eyes, mouth, chin, eyes 1, eyes 2, eyes 500.
Well, let's do this. Show your layers. Just scroll through how many hundreds of layers this must be. Where's your layers
can you
palette?
see-
Oh my God, there it comes. Oh
Can
my
you see
God.
that? Look,
Okay. Okay, scroll down. Just scroll down. Look at that thing. Hey, there's a couple of names in there.
Hair.
Yeah, like I said,
Right,
I'll throw in a
something
few,
sleeve.
Right arm.
But honestly, it's
Reference to.
the
Okay.
thing is that I'm such a big fanboy of the whole like click on a shape, type of thing to figure out where they're at. So
Like, how do you
Yeah,
even? So if you got something buried in layer 138, how do you even find
Uh-huh.
that thing? You just click around until you get it.
oh man, sometimes I'm there for like 5 minutes with like 5
And he's
minutes of
still
like my full
fast.
bourbon sitting,
Crazy.
and I'm like, yeah, okay,
There it is, I
cool, I'm
found
gonna
it.
Get there soon.
Okay.
There it is, got it.
All right, one more question for you. How big is this file size?
This file size right here.
Yeah.
Good question. I believe that it's probably within the realm of about 32 megs.
That's tiny.
Yeah. The other thing is that I hardly ever work to full scale. Just because I could resize it. So I'll work in half scales. So if it's 18 by 24, I'll work
Okay.
9 by 12.
And why is that?
So that I don't bog down the machine, with the labor of having to translate all these anchor points and everything. Like I just did a piece for a movie company that they needed it at 24 by 36.
Mm-hmm.
And that file has over 72,000 anchor points, over 100 layers, and it takes about 10 minutes to open. And
Holy cow.
that file size is nowhere near 32 megs. That thing's close to about half a gig, and it's probably the largest Illustrator file that I have to date. And there's really no need for it because I could have done it half size, but because I agreed with the client that they're like, hey, we really want it 24 by 36. I'm like, but it's vector, it's going to blow up anyway. And they're like, no, we wanted that size. And I'm like, okay, cool.
Oh wait, so I didn't know this, that if you build the file really small, that the file was actually like physically smaller, it actually produces a smaller file size?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I thought all this stuff was math. Very interesting.
Yeah, it is math, but at the same point, you know, if you're working at full scale, you're still having to take into account all the info that's in the nooks and crannies, all the added garbage that might be in there.
Okay. All right. Let's get into it. Let's dive in. I think we've teased people long enough.
Cool. I'm going to shut down some of these files, all right? We don't need them, right?
Yep. Well, go ahead and close this file. We didn't get a chance to look. I just want to marvel at this for a little bit. Can you zoom in?
Sure.
I love this Ghost Rider skull. I mean, I love skulls in general. So to see you do this typography, and so those little black bits are tiny little shapes you drew.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that took forever. But it was a lot of fun.
Wow. So I'm sure all the Illustrator folks are geeking out right now looking at that crazy preview mode. Look at that.
I love that. And that's one thing that I love about it. You know, unlike Photoshop, it's like I love being able to offer that when I post it up on Behance and show some of the people out there to be like, whoa. And it kind of validates that it's not Photoshop.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Not that I'm hating Photoshop. I actually do a lot of, Photoshop for some of my clients as far as photo manipulation, but you won't find it up on my Behance. I just like to keep the disciplines separate.
Mm-hmm.
Don't want people kind of thinking, oh no, man, we see he threw some Photoshop in there, so everything's mixed.
Right.
Not really, man.
Right. There's the purity of the vector.
Totally pure.
I love this apocalypse thing.
Thanks. This was done for as part of the Post Posse with, I believe it was 20th Century Fox, and it was for Fox Latin America, and they had a lot of fun. They invited a bunch of other illustrators and artists to do it, and they totally decorated this one theater with it. And it was awesome, man. Like I said, I really enjoy what I get to do, man, and to share it.
Cool.
28 days later.
Now, let's just spend 2 seconds here to talk about this. The reason why you and I are even talking is because I was cruising through Best Buy and I saw this whole set that you had out, right? You said you did 18? Is it 18 or 19?
19 total.
19 faceplates. And this is one of those reissues, but kind of brand new artwork for these Blu-ray discs that were available at Best Buy. And there's
Best Buy, Walmart, Target.
This is awesome.
The whole trifecta. Thanks, man. I had a lot of fun. I actually did this while I was over in Colombia, man. I was consulting for a design agency at the same time while I was whipping up this collaboration. And it was they gave me 3 months to do it, and I believe that within the first few weeks I kind of had sent over the first 30 sketches already in vector for them to check out and give me some feedback. And then from there was a lot of refinement, and some of them I actually had to redo.
Oh, okay.
Actually had to redo, but it was a lot of fun, man. I'm a big horror freak. I love movies, and anytime that I'm able to get the opportunity to actually interject some of my Mexican roots and culture, man, it was kind of a dream come true, man. It was way too much fun. Better than Disneyland, man. I'll tell you that.
Wow. Hey, so I got a question for you, and I think you skirted it. I just want to make sure that it was on purpose and not by accident. How much does it cost to hire you to do one piece of art like this?
Oh, I did skirt it, man. Good catch on that.
Yeah, a lot of people are asking that right now.
Our audience is like, okay, what's up, dude?
Like,
let's keep it real.
Well, pricing is always kind of an enigma. Obviously, certain requests come from certain brands and clientele that actually have a lot more money than others. Yeah. And for me, I'm not one of those artists that, reaches a certain point, perceived point, goes, oh, from this point on, I'm not going to work for anything less than $10,000.
Right.
Screw that. No, I'm more about having fun and building relationships, and not everybody is, as fortunate as, say, Nike or with a budget like Nike's or Pepsi or Coke. So I kind of stay fair and realistic. So anything could be in the realms of less than $1,000 for a piece, for an editorial piece, to 5 digits for a whole campaign.
Mm-hmm. So when you say editorial, for our audience who doesn't know, we're talking about like in the New Yorker magazine or something like that, right? Or GQ.
Yeah, magazines,
Mm-hmm.
comics, anything that's going to be produced and published in like an article.
Right.
It's the going rate for that has always kind of been set from years ago, and
Right.
Anything from like a spot illustration could be $50 to a cover, which is about maybe anywhere between $500 to $1,000. The other thing is that I tend to haggle a lot as far as the rights and usage. Who's going to own the copyright? Who's going to be able to benefit in the future from that? When I'm talking with clientele, I'm always throwing that on the table and asking, not to bust horns. It's just I really want to know if you're going to basically, commission me and pay me for a bunch of, for X, and it's going to be used as X. I don't want to be surprised later down the road and find out that it's been used as T-shirts and caps and sneakers and,
Right.
and coffee mugs, and
Right.
for that I'd rather understand the rights and usage and say, okay, well, if you're going to turn the artwork into a more kind of revenue than what's being commissioned now, then I want to basically benefit from that as well.
Right. That makes sense. That's very fair. Do you have a photo or an illustration rep or an agent that negotiates on your behalf?
I used to have quite a few of them when I first started off,
Mm-hmm.
and definitely for everybody out there, definitely test drive these guys. It's not that you're working for them; they're actually collaborating to work for you. So make sure that you really get them in on what kind of work you want, what kind of styles you're interested, what kind of brands. Like, I have outside of the Poster Posse, I probably have maybe one or two other reps, and one of them I've kind of just, when I first signed on, I gave them kind of a tag list of like, hey, if anything that comes across and needs a Mexican, Cuban, Hispanic, South American flavor, anything that needs to be like pop or deco or graffiti, I'll play with that. Anything within the genre, Hollywood, entertainment, I give them a whole bunch of insight. That way, if anything comes across their path, they don't have to waste too much time going, well, let me check with Orlando if you'd be interested. They
Right.
already know that I'll be interested. We just need to hash out the timeline and deliverables,
Right.
And sometimes, I've done work where it's like I've gotten it and I've gotten the request and they need it like in less than a day.
Mm.
And then on top of that, you got to be mindful. You're not a machine. We're not machines out there. We're individuals, and we have a life. And if something's going to need that much quickness, then charge a rush fee.
Right.
Seriously, don't be afraid to throw it on the table.
And why are you now independent? Do you just feel like you generate enough work on your own? You don't need a rep anymore?
No, I still have reps. I've got two of them. I just don't have it as I used to.
I see.
The other thing is I've cut some of them off just because they've wanted to go exclusive.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, no, that happens. And for me to go exclusive, man, you best be bringing some A game and bringing some projects because, my livelihood relies on that.
Yeah.
So I find out that understanding and having been a creative director in the past, doing promotions, I kind of feel comfortable doing my own and doing the cold calls and doing the emails and, going out and meeting up with some of the requesters. I love getting out when I can, but, half the time I'm really buried in work. I got a question the other day that people were like, hey, do you do any cons? And I'm like, I'd love to, only if I'm invited. Other than that, I really can't afford to sit at a table and for 5 days.
Right.
I enjoy the work.
Right. Hey, why don't we do this? I want to be mindful of our time because I know you're really fast, but I don't want to cut your time short here. Why don't we do this? Let's get into the drawing and we'll continue to talk while you draw. That way we get to see the magic.
Let's see. Like I said, man, I'm going to start off with some basic stuff. That way you guys could follow through and maybe go through over this, but so what I normally do is that I basically start off over here playing around with the so-called color palette that I'm going to probably build up and play with. Right. And this is the one thing that I really, really love about Illustrator.
Hey, can you bring your palette in a little bit? It's getting cut off, or make your screen wider.
Okay, cool.
It's getting cut off on the right-hand side. There we go. Beautiful.
Is that it?
Yeah, that's it. We can see everything now.
So
Okay.
I just started playing around and making.
Now, how are you picking your colors, and what are we going to be drawing today?
I've got a color slider. I have no idea, man.
Okay. Okay.
I have no idea, man.
Okay.
Talk about spontaneity, but
Okay.
What I really enjoy doing is just doing that. You know, I'm going to treat this just like if I was sketching alone. You know, you guys are going to basically go.
Beautiful. You do your thing, man. And
No problem.
Okay, so you're working CMYK, right?
I work in CMYK because I hate having to be asked after I do something. Hey, you did it in RGB, but we need it in CMYK. Can you redo that? And I'm like, no.
Right.
So it's just also from the fact that I started off in the industry doing a lot of print. You know, so here's a basic shape, right? And that's what I love about Illustrator over Photoshop. You know, I've got dimensionality right away.
Mm-hmm.
You know, as often as I want. Right?
Right.
So what I'll do is that I'll go in here with my pen tool. That didn't work out. I'm a fake.
You're reshaping the balloon or the egg shape?
If I'm allowed to.
Yeah. You're doing this with a pencil tool, right?
Yeah, pencil tool.
Yeah.
Right?
So I feel like a human form is coming here somewhere.
Yeah. What we're going to do is that we're going to split that in half. That way we can keep some of the symmetry alive. And then combine it.
Right.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, this is an older technique that I started off playing around with years ago.
And where'd you learn to draw? Was that in school, figure drawing? At Pratt?
Yeah, as far as fundamentals and all that. Yeah. Pratt. Pratt was a good place. You know, I'm already seeing down the line that I'm not going to be happy with this color.
Okay.
I want something a little bit more gruesome.
Yeah, hey Chris, does he use keyboard shortcuts?
Morbid in a way. Maybe Frankensteinish.
Ooh.
So I just changed it instead of having to manually go into my color range over here and do that stuff. All right, so we've got our basic head shape, so to say.
Okay.
Kind of looks weird, but
you
whatever.
adjusted the color balance to kind of get it dialed in where you want. Okay, cool.
Yeah. So right away, I'm opening up a new one.
And when you were saying before this, like you sketch in Illustrator, is this the sketch? Is how you do it?
This is kind of like what I'm doing is sketching.
Okay. And this is a darker color with a transparent end to it, right? Like it goes more transparent as it goes towards the outer side or towards the perimeter.
Yep.
Okay.
And I'll be fading things out.
Cool. Now, so far, we're all looking at this like, hey, we know how to make these kind of shapes. Somewhere when you're not looking, he's going to turn this into something else.
Yeah,
that's exactly why I'm doing this.
Yeah.
That way you guys could feel comfortable.
Okay.
Going, okay, yeah, no, that's not too far off, too outlandish. You know?
Yep.
Cool.
I see some nostrils going there.
Is there
Yeah.
transparency
All right.
on
So,
Yeah.
all right, so let's play a little bit. Go back to this shape over here. I mean, this color. All right, so let's.
What is that?
All right. What's that?
What is that?
Don't know yet.
All right.
Don't know yet.
I think you know. You're just not telling us just yet, but that's cool. We're gonna watch.
I'm always, trying to play around with things and see where we go.
Yep.
The only thing that takes time is the whole flip, but it's okay. It's no problem.
Hey, Molly, how many people are watching us live right now on YouTube and Facebook? What's the numbers?
648.
640?
648 on YouTube and
648 people are watching you on YouTube and
on Facebook. It was 150, but I need to pull it up.
About 150-ish on Facebook. Our audience is always bigger on YouTube.
On YouTube?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, because we have 185,000 subscribers on YouTube and 40,000 in Facebook. And plus, I think people are working on right now, so who knows if they're tuning in on Facebook. Mm-hmm. That's a theory, at least.
Interesting, dude.
Okay, now I was reading comments for a second, and then now things are already taking shape. I shouldn't have turned away from the screen. Molly,
No.
never distract me like that again. No, just kidding. It's my fault. All right. So you got some cool shapes coming up here on the side of his eyes and something on his cheek area. What are you doing at the top of his head right now?
I don't know, man. You know, I like doing parodies and busting horns, man. You know, so I'm thinking that I don't know. You know, seriously, like I don't know who I'm gonna today, you know?
You're gonna get us in trouble, man.
I really don't. You know, I mean, you know, they're cool folks. I love them to death. Seriously, do. But it's Halloween, and I'm just flexing some of my culture, man.
Let's do it.
I like it.
So,
Molly thinks she likes it.
Let's jump down here and.
Somebody says right now they're in class watching us.
Get out of here, really? Which school?
Okay, Chumeng Soon, what school are you going to, and why are you not paying attention in class and watching us instead? Tell us what school you're going to.
Yeah, definitely, man.
Oh, okay, there you go. Reshaping again, huh? So I notice now you're kind of shaping both sides. Eventually, do you just cut it in half again and do it for symmetry?
Yeah, but you know, like we're just having fun right now. So
right. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter much.
Keeping it loose. Yep.
It's a sketch.
I'm keeping it loose, keeping it fun. You know, the thing is that I want to get to a certain point that we could definitely play and not have your viewers be like, "He didn't do anything cool, man." I'm just delighted that like people are just signing on. Usually I'm just like,
are you drawing a little flower there for his eye?
Little flower. You know, do I want that color? Nah, I don't want that color. Let's go back and play.
The old adjust colors. Here we go.
Oh, it didn't work for me. It's all right. We'll go up here and play this way. Cool. All right, so you see that things are taking shape, right?
Mm-hmm.
Things are playing, having fun. Again, let me see if I could jump in here. You know, it's so weird, man. It's like usually I'm doing this with like music in the background.
Yes.
And like I'm like,
is it throwing off your groove right now that you don't have your music pumping?
We could play some music.
Nah, I've got you, man.
He can't play music, Molly.
I know.
If he plays music, we'll get
So-
content copyrighted, flagged, and nobody will be able to see this video.
Oh.
So
Right?
we're gonna have to just fill in the
we
empty
don't want
space.
that at
No,
all,
we don't.
man.
We need people to see this.
Well, everyone's loving this.
Definitely.
I think everybody's kind of glued to their screen right now. To see
And they're
how-
just like, dude, I don't see anything cool yet.
That's like Aaron when I'm working on something. He doesn't respond to me at all until
Until the very
it's
end.
totally obvious, 100%. Put in front of his face, like, oh, that's what that was. Ye of little faith and imagination.
Yeah, you know, like you always end up having to like convince somebody in your crew that it's like, dude, just wait.
Just
you
wait.
know,
Just wait.
it's all good.
I do notice one thing right away, though. I think you already kind of know what your top layers are going to be, and you're kind of stacking things in an intelligent way. The eyes are on top, and the face shapes towards the bottom, middle there.
Yeah, you know, if not, I'll totally surprise myself and be like, oh damn, I want to throw this now, and then just search for the layer and be like, okay, I'll work down here.
Yeah. I also noticed you've been locking layers as you go, too, so you don't accidentally pick up stuff.
Yeah, totally.
I want to know how active he is with this
Totally,
shortcut.
just in case. You know, and here I go trying to be a
I'm gonna go with
bit more
all time.
exact by switching into the pen tool. You know, the pen tool, man, seriously, I think I fell in love with it only because, not through Illustrator, but through Photoshop, having to do all these silhouetted paths for EPSs for like magazines and ads. things like that.
Apparently, there are a lot of students in university right now watching our video.
Or
Saying, I think the
people-
whole class is now watching the video.
Are you serious?
Yeah, and the numbers are growing. So let's do this. Somebody, Quinn Richardson says, Dia de las Mickey Muertos. That's pretty funny. I like that. And then
That's cool.
somebody says, I love Dead Mouse.
Dead mouse. Yeah, well, hello everybody out there. Thank you for tuning in. You know, I'm glad that you guys are tuning in while you're in school. That's cool.
And
What are
then
we gonna do? What are we gonna do? What are we
Mickey
gonna
got bitten by a walker. I get it. Little Walking Dead reference there.
do? Nice.
Or Mickey Mouse on drugs. This is a drug-free show, you guys. This is a drug-free show.
Oh, damn. Are you serious? I can't put one of my signature, like, you know, pieces on this tongue that I'm whipping up right now. Oh, no. That's the last thing I need to do is start, like, humming and singing to you guys. No way, dude.
People want to know
You ain't getting that out of me. You ain't getting me, like, you know, doing some mariachi stuff, man. Sorry.
what type of file,
Next show.
a PDF, a TIFF, or
All
a
right.
JPEG does he
So,
send
you know
to the
what?
client?
We're going to go back to that.
Okay.
All right.
So when
What
you
do I wanna
send
do?
when you send out your final file, do you send your clients a PDF, an AI file? What do you send them?
You know, the funny thing is that they really don't bother asking me for Illustrator files.
Okay.
You know, they'll be like, "Hey, we just need a TIFF, an EPS, a JPEG," and I'm like, "Really? Oh, okay, no problem." So
That works
So
for
it's-
you.
it works for me.
That way they don't have the AI file, right?
Bingo. Yeah. You know, sometimes I get kind of concerned about, oh man, they're going to go through everything. And not that they're going to learn off of it. I mean, Jesus, I want them to learn, you know, but sometimes you'll get asked to do certain things and for a project. And then that agency's like, oh, don't worry about it. If we need to revise something, we'll make the changes. And I'm like, have you seen the layers? You know?
Good luck finding it.
I'm like, yeah, man, good luck. So yeah, so now I'm just having fun right now.
Okay.
All right. So I gotta move you over here. Can you guys see me? Can I move that over here somewhere? I don't know. I'll put it down here. Cool, that works. One thing I love is like the gradients that already come with Illustrator as far as the gradient palette tool.
Yep.
Oh man, I'm glad that that's there.
That's right at the bottom there. You got the metals turned on.
Yeah, the metals
Yeah.
gradients.
Yep.
Check that out whenever you guys have time. Damn, I gotta move you guys again. Okay, I'm gonna move you guys up here. Cool. All right. You know what, man? How much time do we got? I haven't even asked you when I started.
We have another, I think, half an hour.
Oh,
Yeah.
snap.
So you have
Really?
plenty of time. Yeah, I want to see this thing
Me too.
become the magic that
Same
I've
here.
the rest of your work.
Okay.
We're
So-
invested.
We're invested. Yeah.
So here we go. Ready?
Yeah.
If you're paying attention to what I'm doing over in my gradient tab over here.
Yep. We see it. Yep.
I'm playing around with the opacities.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I'm switching it from a radio to a linear, right? And I'm going to basically throw maybe a highlight in here somewhere. Right?
Yep.
You got me? All right, cool.
Were you modifying a metal and change the colors?
I was modifying the base color that I was using
Okay.
for the cap, so
I got
to
it.
say.
Okay.
All right?
Oh, look at this.
And now
Okay.
we're just going to stroke, right? Bang. Bang. All right. I'm going to go in here, do a hard light, right? And just get some lighting in here.
Oh, it's starting to come together, Molly. Don't turn away, guys. Do not turn away. Look at that. Yes.
Yes.
All right, cool.
And
now
the-
I'm going to basically...
And the brush is based on your pressure, right? It will taper.
Tell you the truth, no, I don't even have that turned on right now.
Oh, it's just a
I'm
single
just going
stroke.
total organic, man. Total, just the way you open up Illustrator. Let's have some fun type of thing.
Okay.
All right.
And then you turn this on to a hard light transfer mode.
Yeah, for this kind of
Yeah.
like
Oh, man.
really.
Oh,
heavy
it's coming
pushing light.
together, Molly.
All right.
So cool.
Awesome.
Cool.
Oh man.
You're yelling at Molly like you're from Little House on the Prairie. Molly! Come take a look!
Hey, that's a reference.
Mexicans doing it again!
That's a reference that our audience is not going to understand. Little House on the
for real?
Prairie. Little House on the Prairie.
Oh, man.
They're young people.
I get it.
I remember that.
All right.
Oh man, I love showing off my age here and there. Seriously, whenever it's not getting me in trouble.
All right, you work. I'm going to read some comments to you, okay?
Yeah, cool.
If you do something crazy, you got to tell me because
I'll be watching.
yeah, I can't watch and read the comments at the same time. So you pull out a trick, you gotta say, "Yo, check this out." All right, let's see what they're saying here.
Well,
Go ahead.
as far as tricks, dude, I mean, like, I don't know what other tricks I could bust out, man. I'm just natively playing around with what I got to play with. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, it's all Illustrator.
All right, let's see here. Some people are saying, tell Mexifunk to do his sound effects while drawing. He is good with that. Okay, let's see here.
Yeah, cool, man. There we go.
Hey, be careful how you encourage Orlando here. Guys, let's be careful here. Somebody named Gotham said, dude, I love this guy's work. I'm literally at work at a design agency listening to this laugh out loud. That's what Alexis Crawford is saying.
Ah, man, that rocks. I'm glad that so many people are like totally playing, watching and playing hooky.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. I
Okay.
love it when they go off and do their own thing like that.
Here's a question for you. Black Mixture is asking, what type of music do you listen to while working?
Oh man, all sorts, man. Seriously, I think I might have been the only kid in the Bronx that listened to metal during the '90s, and like synth pop. But to be honest with you, it depends. It depends on the mood. Hip hop, rap, classical, reggae, techno, drum and bass, dark metal, just heavy guitars and screaming if I'm working on on an angry client piece, but I don't get too many of those.
That fits your profile. If you look at his image,
Yeah.
dark haired, scruffy, tattooed, I see you jam into the metal, the darkness.
Oh, thanks, man. I once told my mom, she was like, what do you think you're going to be doing, soon? Like, what's in store? And I was like, man, I would love to be like the patron for like starting up a mariachi death metal band. And she looked at me like, oh man, like, yeah, you made the mistake of asking me, so like, what do you expect? That's what you get.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, a lot of what I do stems from just my upbringing in the Bronx. Riding the trains, going to Canal Street to Chinatown to see if I could just hang out, and then waiting on the subway platform, because back then, this whole thing that we call street art right now, aerosol art, was considered vandalism and was graffiti. And all these guys, man, that I kind of like was just inspired by, seeing, mode, they would just have these cars just bombarded with aerosol and like dedications to their girlfriends, to their moms, to like their friends who had passed away. And at the same time, I'm on this subway platform falling in love with like ads for movies and makeup and stuff like that. Like I'm very thankful for being able to have grown up in the Bronx at a certain time when it was culturally cool to be a bad boy.
So
Has
Molly,
he ever done graffiti?
have you ever done graffiti?
Yeah, I would love to go back to it more and do some more murals. Like, I get the opportunity once in a while to go visit my buddy Mars, El Marcito, over in Colorado. And man, I credit him for last year. He totally, like, I got into Colorado for a client. I was doing some piece with them, and I hooked up with him for the day, and he's like totally surprised me. And he's like, I'm going to totally throw an aerosol. I'm going to throw a burner in your hand so that you could play. And it was like, I hadn't tagged and done a mural for like 15 years before that, and it was just a great feeling, man. You know, I credit my boy Mars for getting me back into it. But yeah, I'm going to be doing more. You know, I'm focusing more on getting things done. My move to Colombia, to Barranquilla, Colombia.
You're moving to Colombia, huh?
Yeah.
How come?
The United States is getting way too expensive for us artists to live here, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, plus we've got this thing called the internet and technology. Like, you could work anywhere you want. You just, you know, I don't have any kids. You know, that's the other benefit that I have.
That you know of.
Yeah. Well, whoa, damn! Talk about being a legend. Good Lord. Holy crap. Yo, Chris, like, yo, easy, man.
All right.
No, man, you know, one thing that I really love about the Colombia, Barranquilla, is that they're awesome people.
Yeah.
And they really know what it means to work hard and still, you know, have fun and play hard, you know. So let me.
Okay, I have a couple of questions and comments here coming in. Okay.
Sure.
First of all, this is a question for me. You keep working, and
sure, cool.
A lot of your work appears on a darker background, and I notice now you're working on a white background. Is this typically how you work, or do you throw up a black background first and work off that?
Oh, awesome question, and thank you for noticing. What I generally do is that I'll do it right here for you.
All right.
What I'll generally do is, like, just similar to, like, you know, studio painting.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I love working with like a base color.
Okay.
Right. And then working in. Let me see if I can do it with this. Working on top of that. Right.
You're building up layers?
Yeah, and playing with that background tone to play up to things.
Yeah, I think I know where this is going.
It's just like in painting, you know. So it's like I'm able to dictate already light and shadow, and have that be accordingly with the ambient background that I have set up.
Mm-hmm. So you built up a gradient, a circular gradient, and then you're building up swatches on top and playing around with opacity to build up these like broad brushstrokes.
Yeah, these are all shapes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's part of my like vector gradient minimalism stuff that I like to play with.
I like it.
So going back in here again, you know, this is just really, really quick. It's not going to interrupt too much of what I got going on right now.
And you're doing this just based on a feeling?
Yeah.
Okay. And then it starts to feel like cubism a little bit, and some of that deco, right? It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I like it.
You know, I love that whole time period.
Me too.
Of poster art and deco, and kind of how that integrated outward into like constructivism and postmodern, and oh man, it was just way too cool, because that's when you got to see kind of the industry come into the fine art realm.
Right. You have some favorite artists from that era?
A.M. Cassandra.
Boom, there it is. I was waiting for you to say it. A.M. Cassandra. You guys, the internet's look that up right now. A.M. Cassandra.
Seriously. You know, a man that died way too young, you know, ahead of his time. And I just love it, man. Yep. Seriously. You know,
are you building another skull right now?
Well, I'm just demonstrating to you, you know, what we got going on. So, you know, if we're playing around with backgrounds, that's that.
Yep.
I'll go back in here and play around with mood and lighting. Right?
Okay. Then you switch that to hard light. Okay.
A lot of people want
Sorry,
to know.
guys. We'll get back to
Mickey in a little bit.
to Mickey on something. You see? You know, playing around.
Yeah.
So, all in all, that's like what, 2 layers right there.
Yeah, I love how with a few simple shapes, you're able to create a form almost instantly. I see the skull there. It's beautiful, like light shooting out from behind it. Really cool. Molly, you have a question?
Well, he just kind of touched on that.
So that's gone now.
Wanted to know where his inspiration comes from. So, yeah.
Okay. All right, let me read some comments while you keep working on our friend Mickey here. Now, Mickey's face is looking a little strange to me. Does he have a beak or something? What are you doing with this? Where does this go?
You'll see.
All right.
You'll see.
Be patient, internet. Be patient.
No, it's not actually going to be Mickey. It's going to be probably some zoned out zombie kind of person wearing a Mickey hat.
I see.
Martha
You know what I mean?
Mouse?
What's that, Erica?
Martha Mouse?
Yeah, Morto Mouse. Okay, so we got somebody here from Switzerland saying it's 9 p.m., so I'm watching before sleeping. Hopefully you don't have nightmares. Hopefully you're sitting there dreaming of Illustrator vector art.
From Sweden, huh? That's cool.
Switzerland. Yep.
Nice.
Let's see here. We have people from all over the place. I read another comment in here, so... Somebody says, who's here is from Sweden. There's like a lot of call-outs. I'm not in school, but it's 2:30 a.m. over here. This is from Intancheria, something like that.
Whoa, where?
Also, Devar donated
I don't know.
$2 earlier, so thank you.
All right. Somebody said, Rocksteady saying, this is kind of like working with spray paint, the way he layers.
Rocksteady, God bless you. Yeah, you see, people take notice.
Right.
And it's honestly they'll relate it to whatever is their comfort zone. You know what I mean? As far as graph artists going, oh man, that's like just like he said, man. It reminds you kind of like the way I might do it in graph on aerosol.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate that.
And I didn't mention this before because we're powering through the slides as Orlando was telling a story, but a lot of you guys know his artwork and you didn't even know it was him because if you've opened up Illustrator in the last couple of years, you notice that it was part of the splash art. Mm-hmm. So check that out, you guys. I'm thinking that we need to do something together here. Orlando, the Future, some fan art, something. We got to do something, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Something
Maybe
special. Some collab.
I'm all for it, man. Seriously. Future t-shirt.
Something, right?
Honestly. I don't mind, man. I love playing. Seriously, I just, I could do this all. Matter of fact, I do all this all day.
You do. I saw a lot of tribute art on your Behance page. So that's like, you just felt like doing something, right?
Yeah. And I kind of have to slow down with that because if I would post up, just my doodles every day, people would be like you going, oh man, my scrolling arm hurts, man.
You know what? I said it in the exact same voice, like all whiny. Oh, my arm hurts.
for blowing your speakers right now, but yeah. Damn, what am I doing here? All right.
While you're figuring out what you're doing, George Tolley said, I sneezed and it was done. That's how fast Orlando's working, you guys. There are apparently a lot of fans from Sweden tuning in right now. There's a whole Swedish conversation going on.
Word?
Yep.
Yeah, someone was like,
well, if there's any schools out there, invite me out. I'll take a trip. I'll do a live session for you guys.
Yeah.
I love traveling, honestly. Like, that's one thing that I enjoy, sharing with the majority of the invites that I get to do lectures at universities and all that.
Mm-hmm.
It's not only about the art. It's about, really finding what works for you as an individual working in this industry. And technology is something that totally exploit it. If you want to work in Sweden and you're able to find at least one client or maintain one client from the United States, wow, you're fine. Enjoy.
Oh, hey, man, I think you have a friend watching right now. Julian Long says, tell Orlando, Julian from Colangelo says, what up? Do you know this person, Julian Long?
Hell yeah, that's my brother. That's my brother from another mother, man. Yo, Jules, what's up, man? Thank you
there goes the shout out. Boom.
Bingo. Just like that.
The Mexican-Cuban connection is strong, you guys.
Yeah, Julian's like one of the most coolest peeps I know. Good friend from way back when, industry friend, just friend in general. One of those guys that, you know, that you don't need to hear from every day, but like, you know, you just immediately connect whenever possible. And yeah, he's one of the best strategists out there that I know.
Well, he said he's very proud of you, man.
That best be Julian, man. Seriously, because if not, I just gave somebody mad prompts.
No, it's from him. It's from him.
I'm just joking. Seriously, that's the other thing. You know, that's being Mexican. We love to joke, man.
Okay, here's a question, and this is gonna make Molly happy here a little bit. Shahan K asks, how often do you use shortcuts?
Never.
Molly's really happy right now. But Molly, if you can make this in half an hour, then you can do whatever you want. You want to do it upside down and do it with your left hand, that's cool by me.
Because I know there are more in just messing with you. And some other people mentioned it.
Shortcuts. You know, as far as shortcuts, I mean, like, I don't know, like keystrokes or like, you know, Command Z, undo type stuff. I mean, honestly, I'd rather. It's like one of my professor from Pratt, David Passalacqua, and also Tom LaPadula and Rudy Gutierrez. You know, these guys and George Pratt. They're all like, man, if you see it and you need to put it into your composition, then draw it. Take the time to draw it. And something like that has always been with me all throughout these years, especially with the computer, which, you know, really almost puts too much temptation on you to want to take the shortcut route. Man, I don't want the computer to take any credit for my creativity. You know, I don't want a plugin or something that's going to be done, you know, in 3 keystrokes to have that much authority upon kind of my creative voice, my personality that I'm throwing into the piece. I really don't. You know, that might sound kind of high and mighty and egotistical, but to be honest with you, think about it. You know, if you're going to claim it as your own, then put in the time to draw it. Plus, when you draw things, not everything comes out so perfect, and that kind of adds to the personality and the uniqueness of the vibe of the piece that you're working on.
Love it.
Does that make sense?
It does make sense.
Am I coming off too strong or too crazy?
Just strong enough. Just strong enough. Okay. Let's see here. Brad Harris wants us to give a shout out to South Africa. He says there are a lot of fans in South Africa saying hello. So what up, Brad Harris?
Hell yeah, Brad Harris. What's up?
I guess when we say hi to people, they say that it literally makes them smile and jump out of their faces. That's
jump out of their faces.
Orlando, you are a shark in the best sense of the word, from Julian Long, your buddy.
Yeah, definitely. Oh man, he's just poking me now. He's just poking me. You know, I love sharks, and I love sharks because it's something that oh man, my dad used to be a fisherman from Cuba. Right, he's no longer with us, but on his last few days on being on this planet, he kind of, like, you know, sat down with him and he was like, man, do me a favor. He's like, I don't know where you're going to be going with this art thing. I hope that you're going to go really, really far. But all in all, I want you to consider being like a shark. And I was sitting there like, man, they're giving this guy some really good morphine right now. What the hell are you talking about? You know?
He wants to become a shark. Okay.
You know, and it took, like, you know, 21 years for me to even see kind of, at this point, you know, any type of insight and information, like, you know, teachings from this man. But anyway, the whole shark thing, he goes, you need to be like a shark, or consider being like a shark. Not like the ravenous killing machine that Hollywood has portrayed them to be, but more like this sleek organism that's able to glide either on its own will across many, many oceans or kind of ride a current to a certain destination. Overall, the beautiful thing about being a shark is that one thing that's vital and necessary for a shark is that sharks never move backwards. They are always moving forwards. And that's always stuck with me, man. I mean, seriously, I've got a shark tattoo on my bicep for him. And I always share that kind of motivation with the students and friends that I get the opportunity to share with. I really do. That thing really will be with me till my last dying breath, and I'll share it with, whoever may benefit if in a dark moment in their life needs to hear it. Because I mean, this industry is really, really tough, really, really tough, and it's great to have friends, but at the same time, there's something called criticism that if you're not so fond of understanding the hidden jewels and benefit that criticism can bestow upon you, and you take everything to heart, I can't, oh my God, somebody said my piece looks like, I don't know, Ronald McDonald puked on the Mona Lisa or something, then, you're not meant for this industry. This industry, I get criticism from work that I do from my clients every day, at least like 7 times a day from 7 different clients. And I just brush it off, man. Some of it's good. Some of it's like, all right, I'll challenge you on that. And it's not out of ego again. It's just having a conversation, a constructive conversation about the project that's at hand. Does that make sense?
Totally makes sense.
I mean, it's great to be patted on the back by mommy and daddy or aunt and uncle or your friends, but when you get into the industry, man, oof, yeah, that stuff doesn't linger, man. You got to basically be strong, willful, confident, and also support your brothers and sisters out there that are in the same race or game with you. Too many haters out there, too many like people claiming to be friends and then using you just to get over, but that's in any industry, honestly.
Hey, I want to give you a little time check as if we're on a game show or something, but we're about 6 minutes out. 6 minutes out. So
6 minutes out from what?
From the show ending.
Oh, man, are you kidding me, man? I fell asleep over here, man. I've been having fun.
Yeah, so you rock it, dude. You keep rocking it. I'm gonna read.
Oh no, man. Okay.
Yes, I have a comment.
Okay, Molly, you got a comment? Go ahead.
Or a question.
Go ahead.
How do you handle color change requests from a client, if any, when there's so many layers and?
All right, time to get.
That was a good question. Okay, so Molly's saying, somebody from the audience is asking, how do you handle requests from clients that ask you to adjust the color palette when you have so many layers like this?
Well, good question. I don't run into that too many times because that's already been handled with the first sketch that I sent them early on. So they understand that we're going to go down this road. And if later on in like the 12th hour, they're like, we need everything to be blue. Like that happened to me once recently for a project. And did it make me happy? Well, at the end of the day, I'm not a brain surgeon. I gotta fulfill what's needed with collaboration. And did the piece suffer? A little bit. But overall, I would have to go back and find those vectors and do kind of like that whole edit color, adjust color balance type of thing.
Right.
And see where we go from there.
Right.
Does it happen too often? No, just because I'm kind of setting the expectation early on with that first sketch.
That's good.
That's one of the benefits.
Right.
That's one of the benefits that's there.
You're solving a lot of design decisions and problems simultaneously. You're working out the shape, the composition, the color, so the client knows what they're getting into.
Yeah.
Right.
And That's exactly it. When you start sending black and white pencil sketches, that's great. But they're always going to be, hanging out on the ledge going, all right, I can't wait to see this thing in color, man. And that's when those questions come up, when they're like, oh, I don't like the colors that the artist chose. Oh my God. And you spend an invested amount of time having to work that up again.
I see what you're doing here. You're like layering highlight layers and shadow layers, doing multiply on top, and there's a lot of detail that's getting punched through now.
I'm trying, baby. You said I only got 6 minutes, so it's like, might as well.
I wish I had some dramatic music to play for you, but I don't.
Seriously.
It's like an episode of Chopped. And this episode of Chopped featuring Orlando, mystery ingredient, Mickey Mouse, demons.
Bring me back just for that.
And Mexican culture. Boom.
I'll definitely play for that, man.
Yeah. It's going to be this episode's Chopped champion. Oh, shoot. I wanted to read this comment and I lost it. I'll find it again.
What happened?
No, I was just I wanted to read this comment from somebody. And I think so many comments have been streaming in that then it pushed it out of the way. So I'll find it again.
There goes that singing again. When I was in Colombia, man, I was like on a briefing for a client with this agency that I was working with, Davila Publicidad y Promoción. Davila! Everybody out there, if you're watching from Davila, man, I miss you guys. I miss all of you. Especially my girl, Yasid. She's the best. But anyway, out there, they still believe in doing commercials and having jingles, man. Jingles. You remember jingles, dude? Like the one for like Big Red and like, the old Dr. Pepper and all that. Chris, it's okay if you say no.
No, I do totally remember.
Because I know you're totally like, man, I'm not that old, man.
No, they still use jingles because my kids will sing them during the commercials. They're into,
really?
Yeah, they do.
Like who?
Like for insurance companies, they'll like hum the bars to it. They still work.
Word?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that, man. To tell you the truth, I don't watch that much TV.
Well, you're probably too busy cranking out pieces of art, so.
Well, something like that. But honestly, it's like if I watch TV, I'm like, first off, I don't even have cable. I totally live off of Netflix and Hulu, and basically what I'll do is that I'll just watch like an hour to chill out.
Yeah.
But I love like watching, other than like horror movies and like action movies, I love documentaries and like biographies and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm always interested in understanding what were kind of the decision-making aspects that some of these people might have done in their careers to get to where they gotten, and then also understand what were their pitfalls, you know what I mean? Like, shortcomings.
Yep.
I think it's very vital. I mean, that's what history is all about. I love it.
Here's a question I'd love for you to answer. This is coming from Arun Aluwalia, I think. Hopefully I said that okay. All right. What would you say to someone stuck doing cookie cutter design stuff at a company, but is trying to break out? I want to break out, but I stay because of the paycheck.
Dude,
go ahead. Take it. Take it.
You know what, man? You're there at that agency for a reason. It's not only for a paycheck. It's kind of like Art of War, man. You're learning their culture. Culture is really important in this game, in life in general. So learn how they do business. Learn how they go to pitch to a client. Learn how they maintain that client every day. How they deliver. How they basically deliver on expectation on a daily, and take that into your next stepping stone, whether it's personal for you or not. But as far as cookie cutter designs, man, that's always going to be kind of tough because the creative director there or account manager has a perceived notion on what works best, not only for the allotted time frame for the budget of the agency, but also understanding the client's brand personality. You know, maybe they're not so flashy and they don't want something that's going to scare off their potential audience or clientele. So you have to be realistic with that. You know, not everything could be really, really, really cool. You know, almost lost it there, but
way to save that one. I love that. Way to bring that one back.
But you know, I get it, and you'll have those opportunities in the future. You definitely will. You just got to keep on cranking. But the major thing is being smart enough to know that you're just not there to collect the paycheck. Man, you are there to learn the tips and tricks that you just didn't get from school or from any of your professors in the past. Gabish or no gabish?
Great answer. I love that you say you got to learn the culture. You got to go and learn the business. That's a great outlook. You're a man after my own heart. I'm just say that. Now, people are getting angry at me here. They're getting angry at me, Orlando. They're like, don't you dare end this show. Like, they're threatening me now.
Yo,
they're threatening me?
Man. We'll keep on going.
Okay, hold on. You keep working. Erica, cut to my screen. Cut to my screen here. Are you threatening me? Don't you? I'll turn this channel off on your butt right now. How dare you threaten me? And for the rest of you guys, stay around because we'll finish this. I want to see him. Ooh, hold on. Come back to the screen. He did something magical. Sorry about that. I had to just address our audience. How dare you guys?
Yeah.
Threaten me. This show is worth extending the time.
We can do this all day long. I mean, matter of fact, we should start up our own like daily thing, man. Seriously, go on to the park, do some all this like on the Wi-Fi end, man. Like totally steal somebody's like Wi-Fi from Dunkin' Donuts or something. Dunkin' Donuts makes great coffee, by the way. But anyway, I threw that in there, man.
Yeah. All right, okay, hold on. All right, I like the way Claire said this. Claire, I imagine you saying in this voice. Chris, can we keep going, please? Okay, that's better. Don't threaten me. Don't threaten me. Sweet. Claire, okay, we'll let it go on a little bit longer. Ooh.
Please, Poppy, please.
The bottom of his face is getting really wicked now. Look at that. Is fire coming?
Yeah, and we're gonna do some fire.
Thank you so much for doing the fire. It's almost like we were talking before this conversation or something. Love it. Oh, here it comes, guys. And we're gonna end today's broadcast right now. I'm just kidding.
I have the power.
Now, all these people watching have a lot of technical questions, guys. It's not about the tools. We just relax. If you focus too much on the tools, you're a tool. Okay, he's using a Wacom tablet. He's using an iMac, and the rest is just creativity.
That's right.
Using the most basic version of Illustrator, you could do this exact same thing. He's not using any fancy tricks or anything like that. He's building up with layers. Hey, Kyle, thanks for the donation, man. £5 taken our way. Man, people are loving the show, dude. They're like, don't end the show. At some point, we do have to end the show, but we won't end it prematurely. We will not. All right, hang in there, you guys. And Molly and Erica, if you guys are hungry, grab something and come back. I'm just going to keep talking to Orlando, okay?
Cool.
Uh-oh, somebody's making an inappropriate comment.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
What
happened?
happened?
It's all right. We're not going to... It's
We'll
trolls.
bump 'em.
The trolls. Guys, be careful, because Molly's got the button on her hand on the nuclear button, and she will bounce you out of this room. Behave yourself. Wow, he's getting really violent now. Did he?
Who's this, man?
What is going on? Oh, are you writing something in there? Or is that just the negative shade?
I might be.
Yeah. He's writing something, you guys. I like the pregnant pause of the answer. See? Are you guys seeing what he's writing?
I don't read it yet.
All right, just hang in there. This is like an Aaron moment where Aaron can't figure it out until it's super duper obvious. There it is. This is what they sing. Nationwide is on your side.
Oh,
that's what my kids sing all the time. Like, what do you guys know about insurance?
Nationwide.
Yeah. Oh, yes. We are farmers. Bum, ba, dum, bum, bum.
Bum, bum.
Yep.
Oh, I gotta fix that E, yo.
Somebody's saying this is starting to look like a 3D rendering. Amazing. It is. So much dimension. He's got lighting effects too.
Yeah.
Who knew?
Who knew?
Who knew?
You know what?
Bim, bim, bim.
Here's what I told Molly before. I told her, you know, I'm pretty good with Illustrator. I think I'm a master at Illustrator until I see you, and then I'm back to novice level, man. Oh, man. Now things are coming out of his eyes.
Oh, I like it.
That's just me having some fun, bro. I mean, that's what this whole thing is. I mean, you should all be having fun, even at work, man.
Orlando, have you ever found the maximum layer limit in Illustrator? Have you hit that limit yet?
No, not at all, man. And I'm glad that I haven't, because I'm still pushing it. I mean, I'm trying to break Illustrator every day. You know, I remember going out and talking to some of the Adobe peeps at one of the Adobe Maxes. Yo, dude, Adobe Max was hot, right?
It was good.
You liked it?
I did.
Yeah.
It would have been better if you were there, but yes.
Oh, tear running down my cheek for you. But but yeah, no, man, I remember talking to them, and they're like, man, you know, be careful, because if you break Illustrator, I don't know if you could put it back together. And I'm like, yeah, well, that's what I have you guys there for, man, you know. But I'm always having fun in Illustrator. You know, I wish I could have this much in spontaneous fun in Photoshop without having 7 external hard drives to back it up.
Right.
But it's okay. You know, not hating. You know, I got a lot of friends that do great work in Photoshop. And it's there for a reason. Creativity's creativity, man. You do what you got to do.
Somebody wants to know, do you stream while you're working?
Hell no.
All right. See, so you guys, this is a treat.
It is a treat.
This is a unique, exclusive.
I mean, I would love to stream and get into that whole game and play. But to be honest with you, a lot of the work that I do is based on NDA, you know, confidentiality. And man, it would suck if I got in trouble, you know, for doing that. If I could stream my own work, I might, you know, when I get down to Colombia, I might be, you know, venturing into doing that. I'm not going to mention any names or any companies that are associated with that. I don't know what whether you have any, you know, support alliances out there. So, but yeah, no, definitely keep your
stay tuned, as they say. Yeah. Stay tuned. What's up, Molly?
Chris, someone asked, did he even save yet?
Oh my God, did you save yet?
No, not at all.
Maybe this is a good time to hit Command S.
Command S. Oh my God.
Oh my God. As he's talking about trying to break Illustrator.
I know.
That'd be horrible.
Good eye, Douglas.
Good one. The internet.
But you know what? Dude, oh man. But that's another reason why I love Illustrator, for the whole, if I crash, I bomb, the computer goes down, the lights go out. When they go back on, they'll be like, hey, we love you. We saved your work for you. And I appreciate it. I mean, honestly, I was working in Colombia, and like down there, whenever it rains really hard, man, they'll lose electricity, dude. They'll definitely lose electricity. And the first time it happened, it was on that faceplate commission. And honestly, I almost puked right there, man. I was just like, oh my God, I just lost everything. And then the power came back on. And I was like, oh yeah, that's right. Nobody's got that safety protocol, man.
It automatically saves for you, right?
It doesn't always work,
I called up the person that I know over at Adobe, and I was just like, listen, honestly, I owe you a huge hug and a few drinks next time I meet up with you, man.
Yeah. Molly's saying,
don't know what happened.
It doesn't always work, but in this one case, and sometimes it does save your bacon, but you should learn to save.
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Look at the fire that's coming out.
But you know what, man? If it happens, it happens. And for me, it's like, the world telling you no, you could do better, man. It wasn't meant to be. Meanwhile, I'm like totally convulsing. I'm like, oh my God, what happened?
Why don't I ever save? What's my problem?
Why? Pero por qué? Ay, Dios mío. Oh man, I'm just having fun, dude. Seriously.
Well, you know what?
Now Mickey's like totally melting in front of us for some reason. I have no idea where I was planning to go and take this, man. But like, you know, I'm just having fun. I gotta fix that tongue, dude. That tongue is totally
something is up with that.
Yeah, man. He's got no teeth, right?
Yeah. He needs a little mouth structure.
Mouth structure. Here we go. Mouth structure. What kind of teeth shall we get on that?
It just must be part of Latino DNA to be able to draw fire flames like really cool.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, if you grew up like totally doing graph, you know, or denim jackets back in the day. Remember denim jackets? Airbrushing denim jackets, man.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, flames are notorious for that.
On cars, hot rods, pinstriping with flames and doing all that kind of stuff. I love that.
Yeah.
You know, just adding a couple of teeth in there really makes a big difference. Don't you guys think?
Maracuya. You like that?
Yeah, I do. It kind of shows us kind of where the nose ends and then the mouth begins.
Yeah, now we've got a...
What is that?
This thing down here?
Oh, a shadow layer maybe?
Yeah.
Boom. Nice. I like also how you violently hit the keyboard. That's the way I work. We don't go gently into the night, you know? You're like, boom!
Bro, I am still rocking like one of these big button keyboards with like the full assortment of
really?
buttons. Like I can't get down with that, like, you know, slim keyboard that comes with like the iMac and all these things, man.
Yes.
I know what you're talking about. I just can't get down with that. Like,
you like the tactile feedback.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear you.
Wow. Like I could totally, you know, one thing that I love in my pieces that I get lost on is trying to add more and more dimensionality, more layers, more bits and pieces on top of one another, and that I could totally be here all day long, like just adding more and more sections to sections. Like I wish I could share with you what I just finished up for one of the major studios that hopefully you'll see at, you know, very, very soon, within the month. But oh man, that was just...
Is it feature film?
Fun. Maybe.
Okay. I mean, you're not giving anything away by saying it's a feature film.
I know, but you know, some of the people that I play with, they get that like, you know, Petro, man. They're like, dude, you mentioned that you're working on something with us, and I'm like, no, I said feature film. I'm like, yeah, that's us. You know?
Okay.
I'm gonna get those later on you.
You said you're working. That's you violated the terms of the agreement. Whoa. What the heck are you doing there? What is that thing? Is that a weird brush?
That's one of those Bristol brushes that come natively.
There it goes. Boom. Somebody asked if you ever used the Bristol brush. So for the uninformed, what the heck is a Bristol brush?
All the time.
Where'd you pull that from?
All the time. You know, matter of fact, here, let me show you a quick game.
Hot tip, guys.
Artist charcoal, right?
Where are you? I don't see where you are. Okay, I see it. Okay,
artist charcoal in the brushes, right?
Yeah.
These brushes, right? They come out like this.
Yep.
And you can't have a gradient on that stroke. It won't allow you. You gotta go full color.
Right.
Right?
Right.
All right. So now check this, right? If you want some texture. Let's do that, but with a blur, right? Hold on. And let's go into this. And let's add a little texture to this sucker here and there.
Yeah.
You know? And then play around with like the opacity to play with adding things. Like bits and pieces. It's like how I do my it's like how I do my fog, how I do my what else? Clouds. Yeah. Anything that's of that technique.
It has a little modeling kind of effect to it, like you sponged on some things.
Yeah.
Nice.
Something like that.
Or dappled light.
Dappled light.
Trying to use my vocab words here, you know?
Yeah, no, I got you. It's strong.
So wait, so show me that Bristol brush again that you're using to
that
paint
bristle
on the
brush?
Yeah, the paint on. I never even heard that term before.
I tend to use it sparingly. It depends. If I'm using it, damn, I gotta stop saying bristle brush. Let's go, bristle brush. Right here. All right.
Yeah.
Hello. And it's got an attitude of its own.
And it recognizes the angle of the pen, right? The stylus there, because I noticed as you change.
Nah, not really.
Doesn't it point different
directions? It likes to think that it does. It's not like Photoshop, like that one brush in Photoshop.
Right. Okay. So
you
what does it do?
What it does is that it.
Can you paint on the
does
side?
Something like that.
Oh, okay. So it's stamping on those things.
Or when I. Hello. You guys are still there, right?
We're still here.
All right, cool.
Has a very painterly vibe to feel to that.
Yeah, it does. And what I like to use it is generally to help mix colors on top of colors. Like when I was talking about my my overlaying of colors, and you asked me if I use the blend tool. No, I don't use the blend tool. I'm sure that it could probably help me out more than I think. It's just once again, I like to have control of the art that I'm making.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want the computer to be like, somebody be like, dude, that's awesome. How'd you do that? And I really don't know. The computer did it.
Right.
And I mean, like, how can you really be creative if you don't know how the hell it happened? There's happy mistakes, and that's cool. But man, I go back to some of those happy mistakes, and I try to just reinvent them. That way, I learn. I gain that portion back, and I go, okay. You see, computer, you cannot win over me. In that voice.
That's your kung fu voice?
Yes. Oh man.
All right, so here's a question for you while you're working on this. How do you know when you're working on something for yourself, like when is it done? Can you get into a space when you overwork something?
Yeah. Oh my God, yeah. And it happens. It definitely happens. I don't know. That's always like, isn't that the question of like, in general, the question that every artist comes across having to be like, man, I really don't know when it's done. Maybe when I say it's done. Maybe when the machine falls apart or the canvas isn't there anymore. I don't know. Good question. I wish I had like a really informative answer for that one.
I had to ask. Just had to ask.
Yeah. No, that's cool.
You're cutting in some highlights there?
Yeah, so that, we don't have like too many shapes on top of one another and lose kind of the dimensionality. I'm sure that some of my professors, if they're watching right now, are kind of like, oh, thank goodness he's thrown that in there. Because one of the problems that I used to have when I was airbrushing with like frisket and all that, it was kind of tough to add in where things kind of fall away from each other.
It was a pain in the butt to cut frisket. Oh my goodness.
Oh man. Seriously. It was really, really a pain, and sometimes, depending on the batch of frisket that you got, sometimes it wasn't low tack at all. Sometimes you're throwing it down, you're painting over it, and then you go to peel it back, and like half of the other illustration like just goes away with it, and you're like, no!
It tears your artwork apart.
Seriously. Here's one thing that I was talking about before. I just made this stroke right here.
Yeah.
Right, and I just recreated it here, but the lighting isn't, kind of where I want it to be. I go to my stroke and I'll reverse the direction of that gradient
Oh.
That's what I was trying to tell you before, that sometimes certain strokes just have an attitude of their own, a personality of their own, and they really don't want to play. You just got to force them.
Right.
All right, we need to have some light on these teeth, on these jumpers. Right now, I'm just totally flying over here. So forgive me if I go too fast, or I'm not really cleaning things up.
It's okay. It's more about the idea than it is about it being perfect. So you doing like gum lines in there, a little blood around his gums?
Yeah, little blood.
Yeah. Just because it wasn't gory enough before. Just.
Yeah, it's always got to be a little bit of extra blood. Yeah. I remember professors telling me, don't add any blood if you're doing a piece that calls for blood. Don't add it. It just makes it all Hollywoodish too fast and kills the drama. And I'm like, so like, what do you do when you want to add blood? And they're like, it's all lighting. And I'm like, wow, okay, cool. Yeah. All right, what am I doing here? There's still so much that I want to do to this.
Yeah, you know what I was thinking?
What's up? Talk to me.
I got a couple of ideas. You keep working.
All right.
My thought is maybe... Okay, so first I want to address a couple of issues. One is somebody had asked Orlando, hey, are you live streaming? He's not yet, but, maybe when he gets set up in Colombia, maybe he will. But you know what's really cool? And I just want to thank you guys for tuning in, and for Orlando for doing this, because we get a rare glimpse to look at how another master illustrator works using vector in ways that maybe you didn't think of. And I love that he's using some really basic shapes and techniques that aren't intimidating, because if you guys ever played around with a gradient mesh, that thing's a beast. It has a mind of its own. It doesn't behave the way you want. It's slow, it's cumbersome, and I love how fluid he's working right now. He's kind of in the flow, and he basically built this thing up from nothing. Yeah. Pretty incredible. So you guys, let's appreciate for the moment and stop being like, wow, where's the Twitch feed? Just relax, you guys. Rawr, rawr. You guys always want stuff, right? That's my penguin voice.
Nice.
We also got 2 donations that I just want to give a shout out to Scientists X and Vincent. So thank you.
Thanks, guys. All right, so here's what I'm hoping for. Maybe after the show, I don't want to put Orlando on the spot, but I'd love to get some rare signed art from you, maybe to give to some of our sustaining members, people who make what we do possible. But there's no pressure. There's no obligation. We will just talk about this off the air. All right. And Orlando, how much more polish you want to put on this? Because I'm thinking that...
Well, how about this?
Yes, sir.
Since it's the holiday for spook and gift giving, so to say, I could finish this up after the stream, and we could offer this up as a limited print for you guys to give away.
Oh, that would be awesome!
Yes.
You tell me whether you're going to take a few certain number of fans chiming in, whether you're going to set up a question, a trivia question, as far as having them go back to research, this stream for the answer. I don't know. I think that we should set something up so that they can see whether they're paying attention.
Yep.
And then I don't know. How many do you want to pick? How many winners do you want to pick? Because obviously I got to send some to your crew for thanking you for this opportunity. But I don't know. You tell me how many fans you want to gift, and I'll print these out and send them over to you.
Well, we will pick a very limited few, because I don't want this to get super saturated. I'm talking about just Molly, that's too many. Molly, come on. I just said a very few number.
5.
Molly's saying 5.
That's fine.
It's a 5, you guys? Okay. Yeah. 5. 5 would be fantastic. All right. I love where you're going with this, and it was amazing to see you work in your process. And
should I give you the screen back?
Yeah, give me the screen back. Oh, thanks for reminding me. Yes. Okay, let me.
No problem.
Okay, look, here's his face. You guys remember him? Now we know a little context. He's an East Coast guy. You grew up in the Bronx, did you say?
I grew up in the Boogie Down.
He grew up in the Bronx, and he's got the way of saying drawing. You know, he's got a little extra R in there.
I know, I like it.
Molly's smiling the whole time. Every time you said that.
I masquerade it, man. Seriously.
You can't.
I'm from New Jersey, so.
Get thick with it, you know? But,
Molly's from Jersey, so... And Erica,
Jersey
where are you from?
I'm from Florida.
From where? Florida.
Florida.
She's from Florida, so it's a different accent there.
From Florida.
Yeah.
There are many accents.
A lot
there.
of bingo down in Florida.
Yeah.
Indeed.
All right. So, you know... Okay, look, we're running over. We got started late, and that's totally my fault, but we had a ton of people watch, and thank you for going the distance with us. I do want to say this thing. When Orlando was telling me he takes about 30 to 45 minutes to do something, I got to say, I mean, I was skeptical. I was like, really? How is this even possible?
Yeah.
Some of us take 10 minutes just to open up Illustrator and organize our palettes, and you're already a third of the way done.
I know.
It's incredible. I
appreciate it.
I think there are a lot of people who are watching this right now who will watch this on replay who will get so much value from just these fundamentals and how you get these painterly effects, how fluid you work. It's been an amazing treat for all of us. I'm going to say this on behalf of the entire team. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Hey, no, thank you so much. It was a pleasure to be on here, to share, to get to know the team. The pre-prep for this was awesome, by the way.
Glad you enjoyed it.
It was incredible, you know. But honestly, you know, I like sharing, and I hope that, you know, your audience will benefit, especially all of you that tuned in class or at work. Big ups to the professors for allowing that. If not, if you're doing it on the DL, sorry that I just blew you up. But honestly, you know, just remember where you get it and study that art history and build up your creative voice. You know, don't try to do it just the way I did it. You know, the world doesn't need another Orlando Arocena. There's way too much of that going on right now. You know, and I understand you're learning, but be honest, explore and have fun with your own creative voice. That's why you're here.
Beautiful. You know what? I'm going to cut back to the screen so that people can find out. You won't be able to see this, Orlando. So that you guys know where to go. So let me go full screen on this. Go to mexifunk.com if you want to pick up some of his amazing prints. How many prints do you have on there?
About, I think Big Cartel only allows me to have 100 right now.
Oh, only 100, huh? Okay.
But I mean, dude, some of them are old, dude. I mean, you saw my Behance page.
Yeah, I did.
I got to rifle through them and, like, you know, clean house a bit.
All right. So Molly's going to drop the link on our streams in YouTube and on Facebook, you guys, just in case you don't spell so good. It's mexifunk.com, and you can look him up. He's everywhere. You can find him on Twitter. You can find him on Instagram. You can find him on his Facebook page. And, of course, what did I already mention, Behance? I did, right? Yeah, you can find him everywhere. So, okay, I'm going to wrap up the show. Thank you very much for being a part of this very special experience, man. I really appreciate you.
Thank you for squeezing me in. I know that you guys had to, you know, move things around from your standard calendar, but hey.
Hey, when Orlando says, man, I'm going to be there, we move our calendar, okay?
Come on,
That's how it works, dude. That's how it works. All right. I'm going to go and roll the show credits here, and let me see. I'm going to start the music. Oh, wait, hold on. Where is it? Here we go. Boom. I think it's here. I'm going to play the music and get us out of here. Isaac Hayes, where are you? Isaac Hayes?
Isaac Hayes.
Wake up. There we go.
Isaac Hayes. I can't hear it. What's going on?
Yeah, you can't hear it, but we can hear it.